Hey, what's up, phone lovers? Welcome to the Mobile Roar podcast for the week of January 26, 2017. I'm Joe Fidua.
I'm Chris Chavez.
And I'm Ashley King.
And I'm Andrew Myrick.
Welcome to the podcast, Andrew, for the first time.
Yeah, it's nice to have him here.
Thank you. Thank you.
For anyone that doesn't know, Andrew is one of the writers on Phandroid. He has probably written a few news articles that we've mentioned in the past and probably some that we're going to be talking about today.
A few thousand articles.
So one of the things about doing this podcast every 2 weeks is that there is so much news to cover. So let's get right into it. Galaxy S8. Holy bejesus. Lots of Galaxy S8 stuff.
Yeah. Good stuff though, I guess.
Maybe. We'll start with the thing that actually happened like right before we started recording. VentureBeat got some like real photos, not mock-ups or case renders or anything like that. Real photos, and it looks sort of like the Galaxy S7 Edge, I would say. But the big thing is the two models. Apparently, the screen sizes are going to be 5.8 and 6.2.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Those are some pretty big phones.
I have a 6.4-inch Lenovo phone here, and if these phones are the same footprint as that phone, that's huge.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we saw the leaks with the the glass panels or whatever, and the bezels were small. They weren't like non-existent. So I think
They're
no matter what,
non-existent on the sides.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of how it always is with the Edge, but like on the top and bottom, yes. I feel like they're still going to be a little bit bigger no matter what, but they're not going to be as big as other phones that have that same, screen size, but still pretty hefty.
Yeah. Because we were trying to figure out before the show, I think the regular Galaxy S7 is like a 5.2-inch display. So
yeah, the old one. Well, the little one. So
5.1. I just looked it up. 5.1 actually. So that is a pretty big bump.
Yeah, that's a
and
huge jump.
you have to imagine, even with small bezels, like Chris said, it is going to be bigger.
What was the screen size on the Note 7?
5.7, right?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I think
So these will be closer to the Note 7 than the Galaxy S7.
So yeah, 5.7-inch display. So yes, that is a bigger display than the Note 7. That's crazy. I mean, hey, maybe they're just like, we lost the Note 7, so
let's go big to see it.
I think that's what they're doing. Like the Note 7 customers are disappointed. They're like, well, I guess I'll wait and see what they're going to do with the Galaxy S8. Well, this is what they're doing.
yeah.
That's huge, though. That's a huge jump.
Yeah, I mean, I thought there was the whole Nexus 6 thing. I feel like there was a fad where phones were getting really, really big, and then they started coming back down. And I thought we hit like an equilibrium or something where it was just like they finally found the sweet spot. But I guess they brought them a little bit down just to bring them back up again. They're gonna
Because
big phones.
like if you look at the Galaxy S7, 5, HTC 10. Like those phones are all around that 5.1, 5.2-inch size, and like the previous models were the same size as that. So they've at least had even though they've had bigger models, they've kept the smaller ones.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like no matter what, it'll probably be about the same size as an iPhone 7 Plus. Because I don't know how people even use those phones, but those phones are big to me. I always feel
the
like
iPhone 7 Plus.
Yeah, all the pluses on the iPhones, those are always super gigantic.
Yeah, look at this. It's as big as my face.
It's not that bad. That's what I got.
I feel like it's so large. That's why I never could ever go up to it. I mean, most people that have it, they always I don't know. I feel like they always make the same comments to you, it's pretty big. But I mean, it's mostly bezel, so
it's big, but that's why you get it too. I mean, if you get the Plus iPhone, you want it to be big.
Yeah,
and because you want the battery life, because the battery life is absolutely nuts. Which kind of sucks about these the leaked S8 is that they have the same battery size. It's a 3,000 milliamp and a 3,400 or whatever for the bigger one. So It doesn't look like this year Samsung's going to be focusing too much on longevity. Yeah, which kind of sucks.
So
I feel like
sorry, go ahead.
I know. So I feel like I've been kind of spoiled with like the OnePlus 3T, which has awesome battery life, and then the little Honor 6X. Like it's gotten to the point where like I don't need to charge my phone in the middle of the day anymore, and it's kind of awesome, and I don't want to have to go back to that.
It is a struggle to have good battery life in those smaller sized phones because I mean, I've been using predominantly like phones like the HTC 10, LG G5 phones in that size range, and pretty much none of them have stellar battery life.
Nope. Yeah. Same with the Pixel.
It's a trade off. All right, so I got the page open of the Galaxy S8 tag on Phandroid. I'm just gonna read off. I mean, there's been so many rumors and stuff. We had like a case yesterday, a video of a case that had a slot for the S Pen, which I don't really see in these leaked photos from today. I don't see an S Pen. I'm thinking that's not gonna happen.
I think there will be a Pro model or something. They're not gonna like, you know, if you figure all these S Pens they have in their warehouse from the failed Note 7, they're probably like, we gotta do something with all these S Pens lying around.
These S Pens aren't exploding. Let's use them.
Yeah, these are good.
I mean, they already started using them on the new Chromebook, didn't they? Even though it's not.
That's a good
technically
point. I think it is essentially the same exact S Pen.
Yeah. So I mean, I think there will be a Pro model because they didn't have a chance. People that wanted to upgrade from, you know, whatever to the Note 7, you know, they didn't get that chance. So I think there will be a Pro model with an S Pen, slightly more expensive.
Yeah. It's also looking like it's not going to have a home button.
Finally, which is
Yeah.
kind of huge. They're saying a rear-mounted fingerprint scanner, which is absolutely nuts for a Samsung device. It's like
That's
very,
what perks my ears up because I think it's stupid to have a button on the front. Like every
I-
device I've had since LG put everything on the back has had the stuff on the back.
I've just always hated the Samsung button because it's an actual button.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it would like when in my pocket, I could feel it like clicking when I would like move because my tight jeans and stuff, and I feel like it was turning on the display all the time, and I just hate the physical clicky button. And I don't mind the recessed ones that are just kind of like a capacitive one; those are fine. But
Have you guys? The weird thing about this leaked photo today is that it doesn't look like there's definitely not a physical home button on the front, but there's not really a fingerprint scanner on the back either.
oh, now that you mention it,
Yeah. There was a rumor that they were going to put it underneath the screen.
yeah, they
Biometric
could do
stuff.
that. But look at the photo, Joe. There's like up by the camera. It looks like there's
Yeah.
kind of something there.
But
Yeah,
there's no
that-
way that would be a fingerprint scanner. I mean, that's like way up there. And I don't know. I mean, I guess it could be, but it seems to me like a dumb place to put it.
I mean, if you're holding
Like-
it in your right hand, you can
Especially since these phones are so friggin' huge. Like, you're going to have to be reaching all the way up.
pretty high.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be interesting. I'm thinking that might be the heart rate sensor.
It could be. I mean, I know there was the rumors that the next iPhone was going to have. They were trying to do like a button, the fingerprint scanner under the screen and stuff. So if Samsung got word of that rumor, they're probably going to try to beat Apple to the
Yeah.
punch with that. So,
It can be done.
Wouldn't be surprised.
I think probably the next thing to talk about the S8 is the Samsung is hoarding the Snapdragon 835 processor.
Ah.
Apparently,
They helped Qualcomm with that, so it's not surprising.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's like, hey, we'll help you fine print. We're the only phone that can use it for.
Well, I mean, I feel like it was sort of like a similar situation back when it was what was it back in the day? I think it was something with Apple, and then Samsung was like the supplier for some of the parts in the iPhone, and then they were kind of like, oh, we need it for our Galaxy S6 or something. I forget what it was. I think it was like the RAM or something. I can't remember. So like it kind of put constraints on the iPhone at that time. So I wonder if that's like what's going on here. But that's really sucky though, because to me, it doesn't really matter that bad if a phone has an 821 or an 835. I'd rather have an 835, but you already have the people online that are like, oh, like DOA for like the LG G6 or anything that comes out with an 820. Like they're not even going to look at it. If it's got an 821, not even looking at it.
Yeah, I was commenting on one of the articles that we had, and people are saying something like that. I'm just like, you can't make that judgment yet. I mean, there's so many things that go into the performance. I mean, like Chris was talking about on their last podcast with the SD cards, like something like that even has an impact on it. So, you got RAM, you got software, you got battery, you got all this stuff that's playing into it.
File system, like the OnePlus 3T, like all they did was change exact same everything. All they did was change the file system, and it like boosted performance. It's like so much faster. So all these dumb little weird things that nobody considers. All they want is just give me the specs, man.
Give me that bigger number.
I want the big 835, and it's like, oh gosh,
835 is bigger than 821.
Phone is better.
All they want to do is use it for the benchmarking apps.
Yeah,
so they can all sit on a Reddit thread or an XDA thread and just compare.
Yeah.
Look at my benchmark.
Yep. Sending it to girls on Tinder and stuff like
Tinder profile.
Yeah, you like that 835?
Got that 835 girl.
That's hilarious. There needs to be a Tinder for like techies.
For benchmarks.
Tinder for benchmarks. Oh, that benchmark looks great. Swipe.
Swipe to the right.
Oh, you got that 806? Let me swipe to the left.
Another thing I mentioned in the article that I wrote is that this actually isn't the first time LG has done. I mean, this is the first time they haven't been able to use the current processor. But remember, with the G4, they purposely opted to use the slightly older model because the 810 was like having some issues. So they were like, well, all right, we're just going to use the 808.
I feel like that was more speculative. People were like, because I mean, at that time, usually a manufacturer chooses those things way, way ahead of time. So by the time the 810 started coming out, all the bad press and this and that, and then you found out the G4 was coming with the 808, which was an awful processor. People were like, oh, it's because they didn't want to use the 810 because they didn't want it to melt their phone or something. But yeah, that was kind of. I guess that would suck really bad, actually, because that was awful with the G4. That was the one thing I felt like that held the phone back. But
I don't know. I didn't think it was that bad. I used the G4 for a long time.
I think the 821 will be fine. I mean, on my Pixel, it runs great. On the the V20 has it. It runs really, really solid and fast. So the funny part is that the phone might actually be faster than the Galaxy S8 because Samsung software sucks. And,
yeah. And that's like what I was trying to say without saying.
Chris just blurts it out.
Well, I mean, like in the comments on Phandroid, people will eat you alive for hating on Samsung.
Like Samsung's using the 835 because they need it. They need it really bad. So we'll see.
It will actually be really interesting. Hopefully one of us will get both devices and we can do some like speed comparisons.
That'd be great.
All right, moving on to the G6. Got ahead of myself. We'll stick with Samsung here. So results from the Note 7 investigation finally.
Why is everybody praising Samsung like they did something great here with this whole like PSA?
Are people praising Samsung?
Yeah, I've seen so many headlines where it's like
Samsung does the right thing by telling us something we already knew.
Samsung should be applauded and this and that, and it was like. The most frustrating part is because they said they used two different batteries from two different manufacturers, and by coincidence, they had flaws in these batteries, each of the different suppliers. And it's like, what? And it's like, well, one of them, it would rub against the corner and then did it. But like, basically, what it came down to is it sounds awfully like it was the design of their phone was just not. They goofed. It was a Samsung goof because it was like pinching on one of the corners, and then the top, I guess there was a flaw where like the battery couldn't expand and it would like puncture.
Yeah. So I have the details here. The first flaw was in the upper right corner of the battery, caused the battery to short circuit, And then the second batteries they used had a welding defect from manufacturing, and some were missing insulation tape. So, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a big coincidence. I mean, how this has never happened to any other manufacturer. I feel like and it's just like it's just silly that Samsung is kind of pointing the finger at everyone else and not really fessing up. I feel like it's something to do with the design of their phone. They were like that early report that we saw was saying that they were too aggressive in how they were making it thinner and smaller and didn't give the battery enough room to expand and all that. So I don't know. But I mean, if that's just a coincidence, that sucks. It sounds like some pretty terrible luck. I mean, I feel like if they would have went with the third supplier,
my question is like, why were all these battery defects related just to the Note 7 if they get their batteries from the same place for all their phones?
Exactly. Oh my gosh, yeah. Like there's so many things that it's not adding up. I feel like that meme of that lady with like all the little like, what is it, the math stuff, and she's sitting there like, well,
I mean, I will say, I mean, coincidences do happen, and like something like this has never happened, so it wouldn't be out of the realm of reality for something crazy to have happened for this to have happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but I don't know. It sounds a little fishy to me.
I'm with Chris on this one. I don't know if I buy it.
Yeah. And now all their phones are going to go through these 8-point, tests, battery tests for safety, and it's like,
why were you doing that in the first place?
Tell you what, if the Galaxy S8 has problems, like any little problem, it's going to be a huge headline. So Samsung, they really better make sure they're testing.
I mean, I feel like everyone is going to be watching those phones like a hawk. People are going to be putting them like in the sun and just hoping that they're going to explode so they can write that crazy headline and get the clicks and stuff.
Well, to most normal people, like the word Galaxy means the phone explodes. Like I went in to have a wisdom tooth removed, and my dentist was like, "Oh, you write about phones? Do you write about that Galaxy one that explodes?"
Oh yeah.
That Galaxy one that explodes.
I love that. I love when people call it the Galaxy 7.
Yeah, the Galaxy 7. Exploding Galaxy 7.
So there are going to be a lot of eyes on the S8. So.
Yep, people are going to be waiting, man. Anyone? I mean, and it's like there's always a failure rate. Like a very small percentage of phones will probably end up exploding. So the first one that happens, you're going to see it all over the internet. It's going to happen.
The other thing that came from this is there is going to be a Note 8. We knew there was going to be a Note 8, but I guess the story really is that they're keeping the Note name, because we had speculated earlier when this all happened, like, would they get rid of the Note name because of the bad publicity? But seems like they're going ahead with it.
I think they know that they have enough diehard Note fans that people will buy that phone regardless of what happened with the Note 7. Because I know a lot of Note owners that really, really, really like the Note line.
Yeah, I mean, there was still like 4% of people hanging on to their Note 7s, and I don't know.
Yeah, do you guys know anyone that's?
I don't know if it was because like they wanted it as a collector's item. I heard some people on Twitter saying how it's like they're kind of in this weird limbo where Samsung won't take it back or at least reimburse them or anything, and then which kind of sucks because now they're just kind of asked out or whatever, but. I don't know anyone that's just because they love the phone and they don't care. I mean, I hope not.
Is Swappa letting them be sold? I wonder.
No, there's no way.
There's no way.
Yeah. Like, I wonder if people would try to sell them on eBay.
Keeping it's not really that safe either. Like, if you're trying to keep it for a collector's item, because batteries don't really age well, even if you just have them sitting.
If the rumor was that the phone didn't have enough room for the battery to expand, what's going to happen as it gets older?
I had an old flip phone, and I got a smartphone, hadn't used that flip phone for a long time, and randomly found it. And the thing was expanded so much that the battery cover was open.
Oh man!
So those batteries
I was helping my dad move, and he found an old iPhone 3GS in one of his drawers, and it was just completely separated. I was like, you're lucky that this has not caught fire.
Holy cow. I'm getting freaked out. I got all these time bombs in my
Chris has like walls of phone boxes.
I need to buy like, I don't know, something to put them in. Jeez. Flame retardant bags or something.
Just get Samsung to send you some.
Yeah. their little box, the little shipping box that they're sending everybody with like
I need like
aluminum foil.
Safety boxes.
Thanks, Samsung.
All right. So somehow this got removed from the doc here, but we got to talk about the LG G6 too, because that has been leaked a few times this last couple of weeks. And it's actually looking pretty cool, I think, besides the 835 thing.
I really like the design of it. I've always been a big fan of LG's phones. I veered away from them with the G4 through the G6, or the G5, excuse me, but I'm interested in the G6 from what I've seen.
Yeah,
Same.
I am also a fan of LG phones. I'm currently using the G5 again as my daily phone, so
I just want to say, though, that I called last year that they would do this modular thing and then completely abandon it.
Oh yeah, I think we all called that. I mean, that was so obvious.
All suspected it, but it didn't help when like LG CEO guy was like, "No, we're sticking with it. You know, it's going to be great. We're gonna, next year it's going to be even better." And then they were like, "Just kidding."
Yeah.
All your modules will be able to be used again in the future.
Mhm.
Yeah, like how did they? I mean, they totally like backpedaled on that. It's kind of not cool.
It was so obvious. I mean, they didn't even support it themselves. We've covered this before, but they made like 3 modules.
Yeah.
And they like half of them couldn't even be bought in the US. So
And they weren't that great to begin with. So
Yeah, if you want a modular phone, go with Moto Z.
I mean, it was such a weird idea to like, I don't know, have them snap in the bottom only and stuff. Like the Moto Z seems like a way better like implementation with the little pin.
Yeah, the way they designed it, like you'll be able to use last year's Moto mods with this year's Moto Z.
Yeah. I mean, and it works with the Play. It works with all their mods work across, their whole lineup. So it's just, I don't know, it's way better.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
it really was like a failure on every level because like what would you think would be a module that would actually work with the G5? Like a battery pack?
The only thing, battery pack.
Yeah, there's not a single. I've actually looked because I was like considering getting one. There's not a single battery pack that works with the G5, like slides in like they made it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they completely failed.
So sad.
But yeah, the leaked render or whatever. I mean, this seemed like a controlled leak to me. It was a very nice photo leaked out, and yeah.
Oh, that was the top half of it, or
yeah,
it was awesome. So like it was right after the news that Samsung wasn't going to be at MWC, and then conveniently this high resolution press render of half of the phone leaks out, and it was like it's a total teaser because you can't see the back of it, you can't see the bottom of it, but it was like just enough that people are like gonna talk about it and talk about how LG is gonna be at MWC. So there's no way that was just a coincidence. Like I'm convinced it was definitely leaked on purpose. But looks good. The top half, it's got like rounded corners for the display, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah,
like,
I think that's cool.
WebOS.
All right, so let's move through some of our quicker news here. Chris, I know you're excited about this one. Google Voice got an update.
Oh my gosh.
It's over.
Yeah.
I mean, how long had it been?
It's been an insanely long time. Actually, I feel like it's been longer on iOS. On iOS, the app is absolutely like old school, like iPhone 3G days. But like
I don't know, like the Google Voice app on Android before it was updated was like
at least it was Hollow
ice
UI.
cream,
Yeah, but Hollow UI
sandwich.
is like really old now, though.
Yeah, like that's
I miss Hollow
UI.
UI.
4 years old.
I wish we could go back. I wish
I
someone
don't
would
miss
make
it.
I don't miss it either.
Looking
I
at that
prefer
Google Voice
material.
app made me not miss it.
Yeah, exactly.
I really loved Hollow UI, but yeah. So it's finally updated. The weird part is that it was sort of sudden. I mean, we knew about it ahead of time because Google kind of leaked on the the Google Voice inbox on their website, like try the new Google Voice, and then you couldn't try it. So we knew it was coming, but it almost feels like it was rushed because there's like a handful of features and things that you can't do in the new app. It just looks prettier. So of course everyone loves it, but I mean, you can't even delete like entire conversations or threads and all sorts of weird stuff where you just can't do it anymore through the app. So, I mean, I guess they're going to work on it and they're going to continue adding these features back in, but
I wouldn't bet on that. It might be another 5 years before it happens.
yeah, their track record isn't the best at this point.
Yeah, someone in our live chat said that it has been 5 years.
Yeah.
It seems too long to me. It couldn't have been 5 years.
I feel like there's no way it's been 5 years.
That's like 20. It's like 20.
I'm pretty sure it has been. It's like I wrote the post that announced it, and Google mentioned that it had been 5 years themselves. And
oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. That makes me feel actually really old because I used to use Google Voice.
It's so odd. I mean, did they like forget about it, or were they like really hoping that maybe if we don't update it, people will stop using it and we can finally kill off the service?
They rolled a lot of the features into Hangouts, so like you would get your voicemails and your texts in Hangouts, so you didn't really need the app.
Yeah, I mean that's what I did. I mean, I was using the app forever, and then once you could fold it into Hangouts, I just started doing it that way.
I think that's what most everyone did.
Yeah,
I just completely gave up on it. Like
I guess
was
now
using
that they're
it for a long time. Sorry.
Trying to kill Hangouts. I guess that's why they're bringing back the app. Or
that would be so Google to kill Hangouts but keep Google Voice. There has to be more Hangout users than Google Voice users.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because you're forced to use Hangouts as like their messaging client or whatever. But I don't know.
That's gonna be Allo in the future.
I wonder how many people are using Google Voice. I liked Google Voice.
I did too. I loved it. But
right now, it's my primary number. So
yeah, for a long time, like I didn't even have a texting plan. I just had my Google Voice number was my main number.
Yep, same. Back when they would charge you for texting.
Yeah, I made the switch away from Google Voice when I got unlimited texting. I was like, this isn't worth it anymore. All right, next one. Hopefully this doesn't anger anyone. We are going to talk about Trump.
Uh-oh.
It's okay, everyone. It's okay. Donald J. Trump uses an insecure Android phone. Discuss.
He's been using that Android phone for a while. Like that's how you're able to tell that the tweets are from him on his account.
And I guess someone did some investigation into like photos of him tweeting and stuff, and apparently it is the Galaxy S4.
Oh, no, 3. God. Galaxy S3.
Galaxy S3?
Yeah, that's what I read.
Galaxy S4.
No, at first they suspected that like it could be the Galaxy S4, but even then they weren't really sure. But Android Central did like the last known picture of Trump. And he had some thick, like giant OtterBox case over a phone, and they like tried to zoom in, and it's all pixely, and like you can barely tell. But they draw a little diagram, and they're like, "It's the S3." So they're saying it's the Galaxy S3, which is what, like 5 years old, 4 years old.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think a guy that is surprised himself on being like classy and rich and all that type of stuff would have.
You can splurge on a new phone, but I mean,
I think he'd want to have the latest and greatest everything. Like,
well, I mean, he's an older fellow, and like I don't know. There's always been pictures of him using, not even using like laptops and stuff. He's like using a typewriter or something. But I mean, it's just kind of like my dad too. It's just like older folks. They just kind of hang on. And it's like, well, it works still. Like, okay.
Yeah, that's the mentality. It still works.
It's like, yeah, but this one's got nougat. Oh, what the heck is a nougat? Like,
they don't like those changes either. Like once you teach them how to use a device, they want to keep that device forever.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, he's gotten used to it. He's like, I don't want to learn something all over again. Which I mean, you pretty much would if he upgraded, to the new Galaxy. He would have to learn everything all over again. So, he's fine. He makes phone calls. He's going to have to
learn something new because they're not going to let him keep using that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. So, yeah. Well, for now, he's hanging on to that Galaxy S3. I can't even imagine using that phone today. Oh, man.
Nothing would work.
And that phone had such burn-in. Can you imagine what's burned in on his screen right now? Like, it's
That's why he's so mad in his tweets all the time.
Yeah.
You can't see anything on his screen.
He's looking.
He's got
through the
Twitter
world.
permanently burned in.
Yeah, I was gonna say like his Twitter profile is permanently burned on his screen.
The compose screen is burned on the screen.
Composing, all you see is his tag or whatever, his username.
Yep.
Yeah, someone's gonna find that phone, and it'll be pretty obvious whose it was.
That's true.
All right, moving on. Google I/O dates and location confirmed.
Yeah.
So where is it? When is it?
It's
Shoreline again.
Shoreline again, amphitheater. So it's going to be outdoors again, which apparently for attendees of last year's show, I think you went, right, Andrew?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So apparently it was like kind of hot and sticky and not that fun.
What I heard was it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
So
Can you confirm?
It was special. It was interesting for my first big event.
what would they need to do this year to improve it from last year's event, do you think?
Turn the heat off.
Oh. Maybe those
Are
little
you talking about the sun?
make it at night.
See, I don't really have much to compare to because that was my first event that I ever went to. All the stuff that I do in New York is, a lot smaller than anything of that. So I can't really compare to see what they could have done better.
Were you comfortable? I mean, they have water everywhere. Did they have ice cream machines? Because like previous Google I/O, they had all these ice cream machines and snack bars where you could go and get snacks.
They had loads of snack bars. They had places you could go fill up with water.
Okay.
They had that stuff. It was just
so nobody
trying to get to for events that we were going to cover was next to impossible. Because I stuck to Rob's side pretty much the entire time. Actually, the entire time.
Was it really spaced out? I mean, you had to walk a lot.
Yeah, from what I remember, it was. It was like you're trying to be two places at once, or like an event. One of the conferences would end, and another one would begin in like 5 minutes, but it takes you 15 minutes to get over there, so you're not going to be able to get in. And then the lines were ridiculously long.
Yeah, they're showing pictures of it this year, and it looked like they were like using crop circles or something to like number the grass and stuff. It looks interesting.
Crop circles.
Yeah, I don't think I would want to probably attend anymore. I mean, it was fun the first couple of years when it was in the Moscone Center, but
well, that's what the rumor said. Like after I/O last year, they said they was going to go back to Moscone, and apparently everybody was wrong about that.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Andrew, tell us about some Pixel rumors.
Pixel rumors. Yeah. So yesterday, a rumor came out from Stephen Hall at 9 to 5 Google saying that the Pixel 2 is going to be waterproof, which is something that a lot of people were hoping for on the first iteration.
Yeah, definitely.
And then another set of rumors today came out and said that they're working on two different devices, two different versions, testing out different processors, and also working on a budget Pixel, which has been codenamed the Pixel 2B. And it could be released either alongside or shortly after the Pixel 2. And there's no like specifics about the price, but it'll be. I put my money on saying that it's going to be closer price to the 3T or the Accent 7.
Yes, definitely.
That would be nice.
That way, and then I think the rumor also said that, or the source told 9 to 5 Google that the regular Pixel was going to be more expensive than the one that was released in October.
So all the people complaining,
Jeez.
they're already complaining about the price, which is just the normal. I mean, it's like a premium high-end smartphone price. I don't understand why so many people were like bent out of shape over it. But
people are still, I swear, people are just still mad because the Nexus started out as a cheap phone and it's not anymore.
well, it didn't even start out as a cheap. It was the Nexus 1 was expensive as all hell. I remember trying to
the Nexus 1,
save
yeah.
up. And then the Nexus, what was it after that? Like they were always expensive, and then like Google did this thing with the Nexus 4 and the Nexus 5 where they started getting cheaper, and people were like, this is how the way they're they're doing it. But I mean, then the Nexus 6P was expensive as hell too. So like, I don't understand why people keep going off about that. I mean, I don't know. they're going to be really mad if it's $50 more. So.
Well, I think Google's pretty much done trying to. I think they're competing with Apple now. I don't think they're and Samsung. Like, I don't think they're trying to do anything special anymore.
Exactly. And then, I mean, if they have the cheaper Pixel, that's okay, fine. Here you go. You guys are complaining about the price. Here's a cheaper Pixel. It's got lesser specs or whatever. And then there was rumor about the Android One phones. They're going to start bringing Android One phones, which are extremely inexpensive to the US. So there will definitely be options for people that want stock Android, Google Assistant, and all that fun stuff, but they need a cheap Android device. And there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Before we move on to the next thing, just a little update on the Galaxy S8. That happened right before we started recording, so some more details are coming out. This is from David Ruddock. He says that the phones have a different aspect ratio, so they're actually not going to be any wider than the S7 or S7 Edge. It'll be exactly the same width. So they might just be a little bit taller, but they won't be any more unwieldy than the S7 or S7.
There's almost no bezel then.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, then they're
Very interesting.
to see. Yeah. I like that. Actually, I don't mind phones getting taller as long as they don't get wider.
I totally agree.
I'm not a big fan of Samsung phones, but I have to say all these rumors about the S8 have my ears perked. So I guess we'll see.
Until they fix the software, I'd like to stay away from Samsung.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that also.
Yeah.
But I always give them a shot.
Seriously.
Well, they always have the best cameras for, or close to the best cameras for an Android phone, but I have a deep hatred for TouchWiz. I just can't do it anymore. Like, I would check one out, but I'm good.
My problem with Samsung phones is TouchWiz is fine like the first 6 months you have it, and then it gets a few updates, and then it starts lagging, and it's horrible.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really not bad out of the box, but it does just start to feel slow over time.
They have to fix that. I don't know what's up with that. I mean, I've had like people that are just regular like girls that have the phone. They're like, yeah, my phone's really slow now, and it's like, yeah, sorry for recommending it.
All right, so to finish up quick news, a couple Android Wear stories. HTC said that they are not going to make an Android Wear watch, which kind of goes against what we've been hearing.
Yeah, there was a bunch of leaks and stuff before. I think the code name was Halfbeak or something, and then HTC just comes out. Maybe they canceled it. I mean, the thing with leaks is these are always like super early in development and stuff, so they probably just maybe were like, no one else is making watches. All right, let's just cancel it or wait for later again.
The thing is, like, it had Under Armour branding on it, so it's like they went through the trouble of getting a partner to do this watch, and then suddenly they're not going to do it.
Maybe that's the thing. It's going to be like a Google Pixel thing where they're just like the ones making it, but it's going to be it's an Under Armour smartwatch.
That could be true, yeah.
Didn't they do an Under Armour partnership last CES and released a bunch of fitness products that pretty much just didn't?
Yeah, they have like a scale and something else. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they're supposed to be pretty good fitness devices, but not really like something we would talk about or care about.
Yeah,
for Android. And the other Android Wear news is that LG Android Wear 2.0 watch. There's some rumors about that. I did not. Was that the? Sorry, I am totally not up to date on my Android Wear rumors.
So it was a rumor came in last week talking about how LG and Google were going to be partnering to launch the first Android Wear 2.0 smartwatch, and that it would actually launch in early February, which would set up. And then after that, we got names for them. It was the LG Watch Sport and the LG Watch Style. And apparently LG is trying to get this ready to go. LG and Google are trying to get it ready to go now so they can show it off at Mobile World Congress. And then we actually got renders of those two smartwatches. They weren't very good renders, but
very low resolution. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing this now. They don't. It doesn't look too bad. The style watch looks pretty nice.
Yeah.
I like the style watch. So yeah, there's gonna be a big one and then the small one, and I think the big one's supposed to do like have all the fixins, the GPS and NFC and all that, while the style will probably just be a little more basic, and also a little more feminine because it's like smaller leather straps and all that. But yeah, I mean the style, it looked pretty minimal-ish. The big one is looking pretty chunky though. So, but I mean, some people are into that kind of style, I guess.
I just think it'll be interesting to see if Android Wear 2.0 can actually help smartwatches, or if we're just going to keep seeing a bunch of different fitness trackers released from different manufacturers and stuff.
Yeah, I really want to see it because I feel like Android Wear almost has sort of lost its way. Like we talked about it before on the podcast, where it was like very simple at first, and then now they're like apps run on the watch itself, and they're trying to go more of like the Apple route, which is I mean, I feel like that might be a mistake, but I guess they got to do whatever they can because right now nobody's really buying smartwatches apparently.
Nope.
There's no reason to.
Yeah, I mean, I have mine here, and they're always charging, and they're just kind of like desk clocks at this charging. I should probably unplug them, huh?
They're mini bombs.
Now I'm freaking out, man.
Hey, at least they're not Samsung watches. Hey-o.
Yeah, it'll just put a small hole in your desk versus lighting your apartment on fire.
Let's turn these things off.
All right. I think we have time to do a quick Throwback Thursday today. So this was Ashley's idea. When phones were named like cars.
Yeah, you guys
totally was a thing.
Yeah, like there were names like Captivate, Optimus, Thrill. Like they were trying to capture emotion to get you to buy this phone.
Yeah, you're always like, what are they gonna call this new phone? And then they went over to like eventually like the BMW route where it's just like the X38 now or something. But like at one point it was like all these. I guess they ran out of words in the dictionary or something.
It was like you had like Droid Incredible.
Yep. What was it? HTC Arrive. Like Arrive? You made it, man. You have arrived. Like what? All these crazy names. I'm trying to think of some other crazy ones. This would actually make a pretty good post.
Yeah, we wrote this post a long time ago of like the worst Android phone names. Remember that?
Yeah. That trend. I'm glad that trend is gone now because it was just kind of silly.
Do you like that? Do you like the numerical naming over?
Yeah, I mean, at first I did it because I felt like it was impersonal, but I don't know. Some of the ones just started getting kind of weird.
It's easier to keep track of phones. Like,
yeah,
if you're recommending the not current gen to someone who doesn't really care about having the latest, like it's easier just to get the S5 instead of go get the Captivate. And they're like, what's a Captivate?
Yeah, like the S7, and the next year it's the S8. I mean, that's a little bit easier than like the.
So. What was it? The Captivate was the S4, right?
Oh gosh, I don't.
No, that was like the very first Galaxy.
It predated the S names. Okay, because it was on all four carriers, and all four had different names. Can we name all four?
AT&T was Captivate because I had it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, AT&T was a Captivate, and then the Vibrant was T-Mobile.
Oh yeah.
The Galaxy Vibrant, or what was even the Galaxy Vibrant? I think it was like Samsung.
No, it
Vibrant.
was just Samsung. Just Samsung Vibrant.
Galaxy Captivate, Galaxy Vibrant. I think it was Galaxy S Vibrant, Galaxy S Captivate. No.
Yeah, I think they did go with the S Captivate, wasn't it?
Yeah. There was still that Galaxy S name, and then none of them were just the Galaxy.
Just looked it up. There's no S.
No S.
Just
Galaxy.
Captivate. Just Samsung Captivate.
Wow.
What?
Predated Galaxy.
But I think what you're thinking, it was the Galaxy S, but in the US, it wasn't called the Galaxy US or Galaxy S. It had those special names.
So Captivate was AT&T. What were the other four?
Sprint was the Eva. Gosh, I don't know. I can't remember Sprint's.
Was it the Evo 4G? Like
no,
it was HTC.
There was the Vibrant. Oh, Epic. Was it the Epic on Sprint?
Oh, Epic 4G Touch is what it was.
Yes, I just found it.
Yeah,
Samsung
Captivate,
Samsung Vibrant, Samsung Fascinate, and Samsung Epic
Oh.
4G.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Fascinate. Oh, man.
But there were actually even more models. There was the Stratosphere, the Indulge, Galaxy Proclaim,
Indulge.
Infuse, and Aviator. Those are
Wow.
all. Those are all the
Lord.
North America names.
Yeah. I'm glad we settled
horrific.
those numbers.
That was like a terrible idea. I don't know why they even decided to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think back then,
they did it because cars are named that way. I guarantee.
yeah, and I feel like back then the carriers had like a really big say in like what phones they had, and like for Samsung to kind of sell them, they were like, well, we don't want to carry the same phone AT&T's got, and they're like, no, this one's the Vibrant, but it's Vivacious, the Samsung Vivacious.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, yeah, that's cool.
It's amazing how things change when like at that time Samsung was not the hot commodity they are now.
No, not at
So
all.
the carriers were like, oh, we don't want to have the same phone as. But now it's like, oh, we need to have the S7.
Yeah.
Everyone else has the S7. We need to have the S7 too.
Yeah. So yeah, whatever. Just give it to us.
All right. Let's do some wins and fails of the week. Andrew, since you're our guest this week, go ahead.
So my win is a personal one, but it's basically change is good. I got an iPhone 7 Plus on Tuesday, and after using Android primarily for the last like 2 years, I'm really enjoying the change up. It's nice to use something different. Yeah, I know. I'm using an iPhone, joining the Chris Brigade. But it's different. I got the 7 Plus. It is big. Yeah, the bezels are there, but it's just nice to use something different after being exclusively Android for a while.
Does it bother you not to have a headphone jack at all?
See, not at all. I tested. I reviewed the Moto Z lineup for Phandroid, and I actually learned that the only time I really use a headphone jack is when I'm sitting at my computer. Plus, I've got a couple different sets of Bluetooth headphones, so I can just hook them up if I really want to listen to something. And I do have that stupid little dongle that they put in the packaging for you if you need it. I keep it in my wallet. That way, if I'm in my buddy's car or something, I want to play some music, I can.
I lost my. I'm like, not just hearing you mention that. I realize I've lost my dongle, and I'm kind of upset right now.
I've lost my dongle.
I like that sound bit, Chris.
I know. I don't know where it is. Somebody help me, please find my dongle.
I'm not touching that one.
That's funny.
Your fail for the week. You got a fail?
My fail for the week is the MWC Mobile World Congress this year might be a little bit boring compared to normal. Yeah, BlackBerry is going to be making an announcement. LG is going to have the G6. I'm assuming HTC is going to do something, but usually this is the time where Samsung really steals the show.
Yeah.
And with Samsung, I'm sure they're going to be there in some capacity. I wrote about a rumor earlier this week that the Galaxy Tab S3 was going to be out, but I don't really think anybody cares about tablets anymore. I just don't really see MWC being a huge event this year.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm curious to see what LG is going to do, because usually LG's booth is nowhere near the size of Samsung's, and they don't have like a nice little like for Samsung, you go in these back rooms and they have these booths so you can play with all the phones and this and that. Like Samsung really knows how to treat the press or media. LG, on the other hand, doesn't. You just have to like push your way in, and everyone's fighting over like their display models, and it's just like a complete crap show. But we'll see this year. But yeah, that's really odd that Samsung's not going to be there.
Xiaomi, is that how you say that?
Yeah,
Xiaomi.
Yeah, they're not even going to be there at all this year. And last year that's where they introduced the Mi 5, but they're not ready to go for MWC this year.
I think they kind of like hosting their own events.
I think that's what they're going to do instead.
Yeah.
Samsung's obviously doing that with the S8 or whatever they call it.
Yeah, they got to put it through the 8-point battery test, man. That's why. Probably freaked out their
time
folks
for this event.
Yeah, they're like, we don't want them exploding on people like at the
Oh, God.
Heck, event. Oh gosh, that'd be great.
I can't even imagine.
All right, my win of the week is kind of personal too. I got a new camera.
Oh,
I'm kind of envious because I've had my eyes on that camera for a while.
Now,
Oh
the
my God.
backstory here, Chris is well aware, but I've been using pretty crappy cameras for a long time to make Phandroid videos. I had this camera, which is the Sony NEX C3, which only shoots in 720p.
Old.
Oh,
And
wow.
then I had this camera, which is like this tiny Sony CyberShot, which does shoot in 1080p, but I mean, the quality's not that great because it's a little pocket camera. But it's so difficult to make videos with these because the displays can't flip around. So like trying to shoot video of myself was a huge pain in the butt. And so I finally was just like, you know what, the heck with it. I'm getting a new camera. So I got this camera with the display flips around. This is the Sony Alpha A500, which is definitely not like the latest and greatest either, but it does everything I need. Shoots in 1080p, has a flippable camera, has some better controls and stuff like that. So pretty happy about it. I put out a couple videos this week on Phandroid, just like, using it, testing it, and getting more familiar with it. And I'm liking it a lot so far. So
Awesome. Welcome to 2015, Joe.
I know. I'm still like, 5 generations of cameras behind like MKBHD or something, but for me, this is huge. So
we'll get there.
Yeah. My fail. So my fail is going to be Sprint bought 33% stake in Tidal, which is just like, who is making decisions at Sprint is like the dumbest thing. Like, no one cares about Tidal. It's it's like a failing music service that I don't know, a few people use that, like Beyonce and Jay-Z maybe. But even then, I mean, it's not like that's the only place you can get their music. Yeah, it's just kind of a failing music service, and Sprint is a failing carrier. And so they're like, hey, let's spend a bunch of money on Tidal.
Yeah, let's combine forces and go bankrupt together.
Pretty much. Yep.
Terrible.
Chris? Oh gosh, I just saw your win.
Yes. Okay, so today is it started at 11. I'm kind of upset because it started right when we did the podcast. But anyways,
I thought it started tomorrow.
Today. So McDonald's is doing a Big Mac sauce giveaway for the first time ever. They're giving away bottles of their Big Mac sauce, which is kind of epic because anyone that truly is a McDonald's fan, I don't know if anyone's really, I guess, a fan, but the Big Mac sauce is definitely different than Thousand Island. Don't let anyone tell you Big Mac sauce is the same as Thousand Island dressing because that really gets under my skin.
I 100% got Chris's back on this one. Completely agree.
So McDonald's is giving them away on like all their social channels, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. It's apparently 10,000 limited edition bottles that they're giving away for one day only, which is today, and then that's it. I believe the contest started at 11. I'm not sure what you had to do. I think you just had to tweet them with like a secret word or something weird. And then they also.
I mean, maybe I read something different than you, but what I read was that you had to go to the store and say.
Yeah, so that's if you can't go to the store. If you can go to a store, there's also an application for iMessage, since iMessage has apps now, which allows you to look up the location and send it to a friend, and that shows you exactly which stores, because not all stores are going to have them, but some are specifically picked out that are going to be giving away the sauce. The one in LA, there's only one location in LA that was doing it, and it starts at 12, which is right now, and they're going to have like radio shows there and all this stuff. I called yesterday to try to investigate because I wanted to get my sauce, but I'm so upset.
So one of my buddies actually already got the bottle.
Say that again.
He sent me a Snapchat of it, and I'm like, I didn't know this was a thing. It's like
Wait,
there's like numbered.
They're
Well,
numbered.
here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
I thought I've seen people on YouTube just straight up ask for like a cup of special sauce,
Yeah.
and the people have done it.
Yeah, my friend works at, or not my friend, my girlfriend's brother. He used to work at McDonald's, and he said like him and like his some of his friends that worked there, they would just take like they have these squeezy bottles, and they would just take them home sometimes and stuff. And it was just like, are you kidding me, man? You could sell that stuff for a lot of money. It's liquid gold right there. So I'm hoping that even once these 10,000 units are exhausted, this was just a big promotion to like hype up the fact that they're going to start releasing this in stores, like grocery stores where you can go and buy it. Fingers crossed, because McDonald's kind of isn't doing so hot right now, and they're trying to like revamp their menu, and they're going to need new revenue streams, and they're losing to Chipotle's and all these other new, all these other hamburger places. So I'm hoping this is like their idea, but I wouldn't. I'm hoping just because I want the damn sauce, but I don't know if that's.
I have to say, like, so I'm reading this article about this, and this is like one of the most 2017 things I've ever read. Apparently, McDonald's had a memo going around about this, and one of the things it said is that only 1 in 5 millennials have tried a Big Mac.
Oh my God.
Oh man, why do they have to refer to us like that?
The poor millennials. They haven't experienced the joy of a Big Mac. We must spread the good word.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm like an evangelist now. I gotta tell everybody, like on the street corners, it's not Thousand Island dressing. Like,
Someone in our live chat, Bob Bruns, just said all it is Thousand Island dressing.
You son of a! oh man. Okay, so that's my win. I guess it's more of a fail because I can't actually go and attend the little and get my bottle. My fail for the week is going to be I got the NVIDIA Shield last week. I believe it was last week. And NVIDIA Shield TV, the new one that just came out, the 2017 model. Because I was kind of on the fence between that or a Roku. Then I'm like, why not just try Android TV out? And I'm kind of a little weird on it. I kind of don't like the fact that it's basically running Nougat. It's Android with like a different launcher, but like you can't multitask on it. So like there's this really annoying thing if you're watching like a show on Netflix and you're like, oh, I just want to quickly check out a YouTube video real quick or something. If you leave it or you cast to it, it'll completely close out whatever app you were just in. So then you're like, okay, after you're done watching that little YouTube video, you got to go back to Netflix. It's going to load up. You got to choose your account. You got to look and search for whatever the heck you were just watching. And it's just so annoying because...
Have you tried it with the... I just got the update today on my first gen. Does it do that when you use the double click the home button to open up?
And I tried doing that too because I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like if you double click it, it shows all the opened apps or your recents. But then you go to it and then the app is like, it opens briefly and it shows you like it's exactly where you left off. But then all of a sudden it like closes the app and it reloads and does the entire thing. So it's like there's something in the system that's like forcing, like no matter what, if you open an app, it's gonna start you off from scratch again. And it's like,
I think it's just an Android TV thing because I have a Sony Bravia TV that has Android TV built in, and it's the same way.
Yeah, I figured as much. And it's just really frustrating. So like, it's an Android device. Why can't it just behave like on my phone? I can like watch Hulu, leave it, go do whatever, come back, and I'm still in the same spot. But you can't do that on Android TV. It's really grinds my gears. So that's my fail for the week.
Ashley?
My win for the week is going to be something that we've already briefly discussed, but I'm excited about the budget Pixel rumors. The Pixel device last year costing like almost $700 is why I was like, because I upgrade my phone every year and I don't do it on a contract, so I pay it outright.
Yeah.
So if I could get a stock Google device for around the price of what an Axon 7 costs, then great, I'll do that.
I wonder like how budget it's gonna like how much,
that's my caveat there. Like if it's too budget, yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Like because if they can just hit that Nexus, like the old Nexuses, but like the Nexus 5, Nexus 4, those like the specs were kind of whatever, but they always had the most recent Snapdragon processor inside. So the performance was always there, and then everything else is kind of mixed and whatever. But so I'm hoping that maybe they'll do it that way, where they still are focusing on performance. But we'll see.
The Nexus 6P was what, $499 when it came out, and I was fine paying for that. So we'll see. My fail for the week is going to be. This is apparently something that is ongoing, but I have not had a Samsung phone in a while, so I had no idea. S7 Edge phones are getting like this pink line that just goes straight down the screen. And I wrote an article about it, and I wasn't expecting it to get much traction, but the next day there were like 100 comments of people being like, yeah, mine did that. I had to get it replaced. So apparently it's a pretty widespread issue for these S7 Edge phones.
My wife has been using the S7 Edge for a long time now, and so I'm interested if
there's
it
no
will
telling
eventually
like
happen.
If you drop it, does it make it do it? Some people said
like,
they never drop their phone, but it's kind of hard to believe that.
Well, okay, so this happened similar. I have a friend who got the Moto Droid Turbo 2, whatever. That's the one with the unbreakable display and all that. And hers did the same thing. Out of nowhere, it was like big old green line, not the pink line, like kind of right down the middle. And she was just using it forever. I'm like, go take it in to get it like replaced. You can go to Verizon, they'll replace it for you. That's a defect. And she was just like, and she was using it for like months with this giant green line, exactly the same as those phones. So
many people I found, they like something happens to their phone and they're just like, this is my life now. Nothing I can do about it.
How many times have you been walking through an airport and you just casually glance around and see people using phones with cracked screens? Like how do you even read your text?
For years. And it's not that expensive to like replace the display, especially for an iPhone. You can just walk into an Apple store, it's like $100 or something. But
they're like the dog in that comic. They break their phone. They're like, this is fine.
It's ridiculous. I had a friend who had like the Galaxy S6, which I recommended, and hers did like there was like this issue with the blue dots on the camera. When you take a picture, there was blue dots everywhere, and it was like a defect, and it was well known. I was like, just take it in, walk into Sprint. They'll give you a different phone. I mean, it's like so easy. And then she just kept putting it off forever, and still, I don't think she even did it until she actually dropped it and broke the display, and then she ended up getting it replaced. But it's so frustrating what people will just, I guess they just live with. It's weird.
All right, let's do rapid fire app picks round here. Ooh. Andrew?
I got a game. It's called BB Tan. My buddy found it on his iPhone, and then I found it was on Android. It's basically like Brick Breaker. You just shoot a ball trying to get up, but each brick has different numbers in them, and you try and build up to you get. It's a never-ending game. It's just great time killer. It takes like 5-10 minutes. Or if you're like me, you play for like 30.
Is it free?
Yeah, it is free. I don't think there's any in-app purchases. There might maybe for like coins and stuff, but you don't need them to play. I haven't paid anything for it in the game.
Cool. Mine is going to be a I guess it's a note-taking app. I don't know what you would consider it, but it's called Pickle, and it is like it's like a to-do list type app, note-taking apps, thing like that. But it's cool because the interface is just like a messenger app, and so when you want to take a note of something or just jot something down, it looks like you're having a conversation, but with no one. So you like type in your thing, like say buy milk later, and then you can use a hashtag. So maybe I would do hashtag groceries. And then once you have like a bunch of things in there, you can organize it by hashtag. So if I had added a bunch of grocery type notes, I could like use like, okay, see only groceries. And then it will show me all the notes that I wrote with groceries, or you could do like to do or anything else, but just kind of a cool take on a productivity app. It's called Pickle, and it is free.
Cool.
Chris, do you have one, or should we go to Ashley?
I do have one. Mine is going to be called. It's called Snap Swipe Drawer Minimal. Basically, it's like a widget drawer in your notification area. So like if you swipe from like the corner more, it'll pull down a panel where you can place widgets, which I feel like are really underused in Android, and there's some cool ones in there. Sometimes
Chris,
there's like some features.
I just downloaded that app yesterday. It's amazing.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say we already talked about it on the podcast. And I was like, wait, what?
No, I downloaded it yesterday and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, so like I don't like putting widgets on my home screen because that's where I put my app icons.
Yeah.
And I don't have room for these stupid big old widgets. So I'm like, where am I going to put a freaking widget? And I wish there was like a way to do it on the home button where I could press the home button along
Yes.
with it and pull up
What
something.
you said is probably one of the most like opposite Android things. Like I don't have room on the home screen. That's where all my app icons are.
Yeah.
The
that's
home
like
screen
an
is supposed to
iPhone
be
thing.
for where you can put widgets. All your app icons are supposed to be in the app drawer.
Well,
Like,
the way I
technically-
use it, like some widgets look okay to have on your
Yeah.
home screen, but some of them are really ugly. But they're
Oh, yeah.
useful.
I mean,
so
even
I
like
hide
my
them.
I don't even
calendar
use-
widget, like I want to put my calendar widget on the home screen, but then I'm like, it's gonna cover my wallpaper, so I'm like, no. So this way it's perfect because you can just swipe from the middle, and then it pulls down your notifications normally. But if you swipe from a little more to the right, it pulls down the little widget, little notification thing, which is awesome. I feel like Android might actually implement something like this in the future, which I think would be really cool. But
I put my my Authy widget for two-factor authentication, and then my Blizzard widget for my Battle.net account on mine.
oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, right now I just have my calendar. I'm trying to like figure out some other cool widgets to put on there right now, but it's called Snap Swipe Drawer, fast, clean. And it's
I knew
free.
this app sounded familiar. I covered this in my top 5 apps of the week back in September. So yeah, it is a
Ah.
cool app.
It's a cool app, yeah.
There you go.
Ashley?
My app is called Sesame Edge, and it's basically like an app search. I don't know if you guys can see my phone. There's this little yellow line here, and when I turn the phone off, when I flick over there, no, I missed it. It brings up this. Like these apps up here are ones that you can set, and then these down here are your recents. But it also has like Reddit
nice.
integration with this keyboard. So if I wanted to search from like game subreddit, I could just go up here and it's got all my subreddits that I'm subscribed to. It's really neat.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then you can move the little edge thing. You can move it around. You can change the color of it. You can have it any apps you want up there. I think there are like 20 spaces for apps that you use frequently that you may not want on your home screen.
This is another app that I had in my top 5 apps and games of the week. So
It's pretty neat. Like I downloaded it and I was like, whoa, because I keep a lot of apps on my phone and I hate having to have them to search through them with Action Launcher. And this is really handy.
this has been a great advertisement for my top apps of the week. If you're looking for great apps, check that out. But yeah, I like that app a lot too. There are really like a lot of cool Android apps that do stuff like that.
That's the
And
reason I love Android so
they're
much, because
interesting.
you can completely change the way you use your phone just with apps.
There was a home screen I was playing around with, a home screen app. Let me see if I can find the name of it. But it was ASAP Launcher, and I was almost going to try to stick with it. It's actually really, really cool, except that you can't put like folders and drag whatever you. It only shows like your most recently used apps, and I was like, there's no way to customize it.
Yeah.
So
I tried that for a while too, Chris.
yeah, I was like, this is kind of awesome. And you swipe, and like they have these different side gestures, which I think are pretty darn awesome and stuff. And it's just so different from all these other launchers. So that was another good one.
All right, that's gonna wrap it up for this week. We didn't get any emails, but if you would like to email us, our address is podcast@phandroid.com, and we're also on Twitter @MobileRoarcast, one word. If you want to subscribe to the audio version of the podcast, that's on Google Play, iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher Radio, whatever podcast app you use, you can find us there. And then on Twitter, Chris is at GamerCore, Ashley's at Overlord Roar, Andrew is at Andy Myrick, and I am at Tall Schmo. And we will see you guys next time. Later.
Later.
Bye.